let's talk about Tucker Carlson, because Tucker was someone who used to come to our parties. He was a colleague of yours at the Weekly Standard back in the day.
Well, we don't literally live in Georgetown, but when Tucker was inveighing on one of his shows about Georgetown cocktail parties, someone we both knew said, "That's weird, because the one and only time I ever met Tucker Carlson was at a cocktail party at David Frum's house." And as I say, it's not literally Georgetown, but it's about
like a mile north.
It's about a mile north. Right, but I have this joke. I mean, I have this joke that is maybe a little sharper than I should tell, but I should say, I really liked Weimar Tucker. The new Tucker, I'm not so sure about, but the Weimar era version is very charming.
Let's describe him. You see, so I remember he came to one of our annual holiday parties. He was a product of the same. So his father ran American broadcasting into the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc. His father had been a well-known journalist, and he became then head of that entity that runs Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, and so absolutely a product of those anti-communist struggles. And Tucker, the family was very well off. Tucker was expensively educated, and belonged to that world, came into the Weekly Standard, where he was a really, really good magazine writer, wrote other kinds of magazine pieces. I think I blurbed his first book. And in the early 2000s, he loved TV. And another mutual friend of ours, Christopher Hitchens, used to warn him against this, the way you might warn off someone from cocaine. Or, it's seductive, it's lucrative, it's dangerous. Yeah. And then, but he kept trying it and failing at it and trying it and failing at it. And then finally he found the formula that worked. And what I think about him, there's in Richard Rovere's biography of Joe McCarthy, he tells this story that Rover, I never know how to pronounce his name, had been a journalist who'd covered McCarthy closely. And McCarthy was kind of a raffish, if you got to know him, he was actually kind of fun to be around. He was sort of raffish, he told dirty stories. And McCarthy, and Rovere's wife had also liked Joe McCarthy a fair bit, against her, and despised everything he was doing, but couldn't help but be engaged with him. And he came home and found his wife very, very upset. And she had just heard on the radio that Joe McCarthy had died. And the announcer, looking for something to say positive about the recently dead, said, McCarthy, he was a controversial figure, loved by some, hated by many, but whatever else you have to say about him, at least he was sincere. And the wife said, don't they understand, the one thing you could never say about him was that he was sincere. It wasn't that he didn't believe it, is that he didn't care whether he believed it or not. I think when I watched, Tucker would, if animal rights were the formula for Fox News' survival as a business, he would be for animal rights.
Yo.